Hey guys, welcome back for another video. This one's just going to be a quick one on some iPhone 8 rumors. Where to start? So, the iPhone's being released this year in September. We're approaching it. We know there are a lot of really good rumors coming out. The biggest thing, I think, is that it's going to kind of be two different releases at one time. So there's going to be the more incremental iPhone 7s, upgrade like that, where it's just a small step, an evolution of what we already have. Now the big one that this is going to be what I'm talking about, the iPhone 8, iPhone X edition, whatever it's going to be called, is like the 10-year anniversary. So that means that this is going to be a huge, redesign. And we're going to get into that. So the 7S, whatever that's going to be, I'm not really going to be covering. This is going to be all about the iPhone 8. So let's get started. iPhone 8, first big thing, we're going to be getting drastically reduced bezels and a giant screen, something in line with the Galaxy S8, the LG G6. We've been seeing a couple of different designs, prototypes leaked. The first one we were seeing was where we have basically the whole thing is screen, just save for the very top, a tiny little cutout for sensors and cameras, stuff like that. But basically the whole thing is a screen, and that's really cool. Now, recently though, there's been another prototype leak that we've had, and that has been something more in line with the S8, where it's very small bezels, but they're still there. I'm okay with either personally. I'm using the iPhone 7 Plus now. Yeah, those bezels are huge. It's a giant phone. The screen isn't even that big. Let's just see those bezels at least shrunk down drastically, so we'll have a much smaller phone with a big screen. I'm happy with either. If they don't release the more drastic change of the whole thing is basically screen, I'm okay with that. Save it for next year. That's what Apple tends to do anyway. They kind of like to just do enough of a change to make people want it and, not move too fast. And in some ways, I almost respect that, because you don't want to, if you throw everything into the phone, all the latest, greatest, it's kind of like, okay, so then what's going to be the big surprise for next year? Because technology changes fast, but not that fast. If they save a couple of goodies for next year and do just enough now, I know this might not be the popular opinion, that's just how I feel about it. So anyway, yeah, give us that nice redesign, give us those shrunken down bezels, give us a smaller phone with a bigger screen. That's the most important thing to me. That's what I'm getting sick of with my 7 Plus, how big it is. So the next big change. Now, that's going to come in the way of the screen technology used. So we're switching from an IPS LCD to an OLED. This is basically confirmed. It's only going to be happening with the iPhone 8, not with any other iPhones released, it looks like. The other iPhones, like the 7S, 7S Plus, are going to be sticking with those LCDs, which aren't bad, but I think it's going to be really great to get those OLEDs on the phone. Maybe we'll get a jump in resolution up to 2K. That would be awesome. Just like a sharper screen and more vibrant screen. So that's the nice thing about that. Now, another change which people might not notice as much is that they're actually going to be using some new battery technology. So it just comes in the way of shape. It's still going to be a lithium ion, but instead of the square shape, we're going to have a L shape, and it's kind of going to wrap around some of the other components, but that allows for a bigger battery, better battery life. I am all for this. I'm sure you guys are too. So that's a really exciting thing. Apple, so when you get the plus size phone, because it's so big, they can stick a big enough battery in it, and because Apple is so optimized, that, with their software and hardware, it just always works and the batteries last well. But for their smaller iPhones, the battery life isn't as great. It'll be nice to see a smaller phone with a giant screen and a bigger battery that'll really last the whole day, hopefully maybe even 2 days, who knows. I don't know the exact size, but as long as it's going to be bigger, that's great. The other big rumor, and this one might not actually be coming, is that Apple is trying to embed a fingerprint sensor under the screen itself. Now, because we're going to be losing those bezels to a very minimal state, there's not going to be a home button anymore. Samsung tried to do this as well, and we're not able to actually get it done for the Galaxy S8. Maybe it's coming for the Note 8, but these companies, Apple and Samsung, are actually having a really hard time getting that fingerprint sensor under the screen. So maybe we'll see it for the iPhone 8. I actually don't think we will. It seems like it's not going to happen this year. Probably next year, but they will be giving us some alternatives. I'm not sure if they're actually going to be putting a fingerprint sensor on the back of the phone, but the biggest rumor in terms of security is that they're going to be using, to unlock your phone, 3D facial recognition technology. Now, I believe this isn't, this is from what I think. I think it's going to be different from Samsung's facial recognition technology in the way that I think they'll be putting 2 cameras on the front of the phone. So you will not be able to fool it with a picture of yourself. That's where they mean 3D facial recognition. It's going to be, depth is going to be a part of this, and I think that's going to make it much more secure than what Samsung uses. I'm not sure about any sort of iris retina scanner thing on the iPhone 8. There hasn't really been much talk of that, although it's certainly possible. I think the more options you have, the better. If you put a fingerprint scanner, retina scanner, and or iris scanner, retina, I don't even know which one it is, and 3D facial recognition, I think people will appreciate that, to have all those options. Now, as long as we have one of those at least, that'll be good. I'm fine with, making the change from the home button to something else, as long as it's, as secure, which hopefully it will be. So those are kind of a roundup of the bigger rumors. Now, the basic design of it, so it is going to be apparently moving back to a kind of iPhone 4-like design, basically glass front, and now a glass back with a metal frame. And I think that's really cool. I bought the iPhone 7 Plus in jet black. Yes, I did it, even though it smudges and scratches, because it has that more glass polished look to it. I like that. I'm a fan of that. Not everyone is going to like that, though, because of the biggest thing, which is smudges and scratches. So we'll see. It's probably going to look nicer when it's all polished and clean, but it is probably going to get dirty a lot easier. I'd say probably stick with the light. If they release lighter colors, go with those. My jet black iPhone is always smudging and, doesn't always look as good. So, but I am all for this change from and it also leads to, we could potentially have wireless charging. If there's a glass back, that's what opens up that possibility. That's why Samsung's always been doing the glass backs, because you can do the wireless charging. I don't even know how important this is to Apple. It's really not something I need. I'm totally fine with just plugging it in anyway overnight, but we'll see. It leaves that door open. So that kind of rounds up the rumors. I'm sure there are a couple I might have left, smaller ones I might have left out, but I just want to talk about the big stuff. Now, here's a question for you guys. Are you waiting for the iPhone 8? Are you excited for it? Anticipating it? Let me know in the comments if you plan on getting one. I know I am already, even though I haven't seen the final product. I'll be reviewing it, unboxing it, all that great stuff. And yeah, like my video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you also enjoy my videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.